I just wanted to start off with a couple things before I ask my question, just because I have the chance and the mic. Number one, I barely recognize you without sunglasses, a joint in your mouth, and a Snoop Dogg song playing in the back room. Shout out to Thug Life, whoever you are. And second of all, I can't wait to watch you contribute to the extinction of the water buffalo in about an hour. So I know you're going to have no comment on that. You're a classy guy, but I had to put that out there. All right. My real question is, though, it's pretty serious. As a Jew, I've seen a lot of anti-Semitism recently in the past year or two. I mean, I expect it on the left. It takes the form of anti-Zionism, anti-Israel. They embrace people like Linda Sarsour. Keith Ellison is, one of the head members of the DNC. But what I've seen a growing trend, very disturbing, is on the fringe right, the alt-right. We've all heard you've been attacked by them. I've seen some very just flat-out, anti-Semitic, just crazy, the Jewish question, Jews run media, Jews are behind literally everything. And, growing up, my parents were conservative and we were, Jewish conservatives, we were always, out of the orthodoxy, most Jews are liberal. So, I always thought the right was very welcoming towards Jews and welcoming towards Israel, and I still think they are, but why do you think there's such an increase towards Jews, both on the left and the right?
Okay, so first of all, on the Chang thing, I'm looking forward to having a productive discussion with him when this happens. So let's put that there. As far as the alt-right anti-Semitism, I mean, as somebody who received an inordinate amount of hate from the alt-right in the last year, the Anti-Defamation League named me the #1 recipient of anti-Semitic tweets for journalists on the internet last year, and that was largely driven by the alt-right. I think that people need to understand what the alt-right actually is, and people who think they're alt-right. So not everybody who likes memes is an alt-right person. Okay, I think a lot of memes are hilarious. I'm particularly fond of the Harambe memes. So there are a lot of these things that I think are really funny. But I think that the alt-right did a good marketing thing when they broadened their appeal, because the actual basis of the alt-right movement, people like Jared Taylor and Richard Spencer, is essentially a white supremacist argument that the white race created Western civilization and that outsiders to that race are threats to Western civilization. And I think that the rise of that movement is partially driven as a reaction to the intersectionality theory of the left. So on the left, you've seen this attempt to basically paint everybody in the United States as a member of a particular race or sex or sexual orientation. They're not individuals, they're groups. And all of these groups have been victimized by Western civilization, and therefore they have to stand up and fight back against Western civilization. And there's a group of people on the so-called alt-right who aren't particularly conservative, by the way. They're not in favor of smaller government, many of them. Right. Many of them are overtly anti-Christian, not just anti-Judaic. And they come along and they say, okay, well, if intersectionality is good for the left, why can't it be good for the right? Right? Why can't this be true for white people? Right? If there's an interest group for black people, why not have an interest group for white people? And I think that that reactionary tendency gained some steam during the last election cycle, and because they consider themselves to be politically incorrect more than just wrong, they glom onto a person they consider to be politically incorrect, which is President Trump. Okay. And they used him as sort of an avatar, and I think that some of that's unfair. So that's why I think you saw the rise of this. Do I think it's more than a small movement? No. I think it's a very small movement. I think that when people suggest that it's taking over the Republican Party, I think that's nonsense. I think that there was an attempt by the alt-right to broaden itself out and pretend it was something that it wasn't. It was just people who were disaffected with the establishment. Okay, then I'd be alt-right. I think the establishment sucks. Right, I was a Tea Partier, but that's not what the alt-right is. And those are the people who are really driving a lot of that on the right. All right.